back to the weekly InSalt episode 270.
270.
270, dude.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
It is.
You're talking to the side of your microphone.
Am I? Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I can hear you.
All right. Hey.
And
hey.
we want to hear you because it's Mother's Day.
I know it is Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to all those gorgeous, courageous, beautiful women out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, men suck.
Sometimes they do.
Yeah, well, everybody can have their moments of suckiness.
They can. Women and men alike. But, Laura, Wade.
Yeah.
Happy
Curt.
Mother's Day. And Curt.
Yeah.
I mean, dads are moms too.
I mean,
Are
in
they?
a lot of ways,
Yeah,
dads
yeah.
are moms too.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's
I think
probably
so.
some
Yeah.
single dads out there that you could argue could celebrate on Mother's Day.
They could. Yeah.
It's kind of weird now that I'm thinking about it because with all of the way society is today, maybe it shouldn't just be Mother's or Father's Day. It should just
Parents'
be
Day.
Parents' Day.
Parents' Day.
Yeah.
Let's advocate for that because I agree, man.
I don't want to advocate for that because I think there's been a lot of weird shit going on at the same time. It's like mothers and fathers do deserve to have their own day.
Well, yes, but I still want to say Happy Mother's Day
Yeah.
to all of those women out
Yeah.
there. And special tribute to my mom.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
I miss you every day, and I love you.
Do you really think? Of course, she's your mother, so you think about her all the time.
I do.
But
It's been...
Do you have a memory of your childhood that's like a really fond memory of you and your mother that you would be willing to share?
So, I have so many fond memories, but I think the fondest memory I have of my mom is actually when I was older.
Yeah.
And just the lessons that she taught me
Mm-hmm.
about being a strong woman, being smart, and just her business mind
Yeah.
was like so invaluable to me. I've carried that forward through my entire life about being strong and independent.
You know, and I think as I get older too, I agree with you because when I was a kid, I kind of took things for granted. You know, I just thought like my parents are always wanting me to do my homework, and you know, my parents always give me these rules, and then you hit 18 and your early 20s and you think you fucking know everything.
Dude, I have a really funny memory.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Okay, so I was like 17, really like out, like on my, like not on my own. I was still living at my parents' house, but I remember Mom would always like get up early on Saturdays. It was our cleaning day, right? And
Yeah.
like she had a regiment. So, like we worked from top down. We dusted everything, and I remember being such a lazy teenager.
I think everybody was lazy.
I
when
was
they were a
so
teenager.
lazy. And
I was super lazy.
I just cared about hanging with my friends and doing what I wanted to do because I was an adult. at
Yeah,
17,
you
right?
thought you were. Yeah.
So my room was a pigsty.
Mm-hmm.
I was not like if any of like you know me. I'm not a messy person.
No, you're not. You're not.
I was a messy teenager.
Me too.
So was I. I mean, that kind of carried on into my adulthood, too. You should see my house now. Holy fuck.
But like, I think we all hit that moment where we were messy when we were young, because of that, we realized that we don't want people coming over to our messy houses as adults.
So my funny story is, 17, cleaning regiment, Saturday, my room was a pigsty. I had clothes, laundry all over the floor, everywhere, on my bed, on my floor. Mom said, this room is a disaster. You really need to clean this. I'm like, if it bothers you that much, you clean it.
Oh, boy.
Oh, dude, what a mistake.
fucked up.
Oh, I fucked up big time. So I went out that day, had fun with my friends, came home that night. My room was spotless. My laundry was done. All of my laundry was put away. My stepdad comes down and says, you ever fucking talk to your mom that way again, you're out of here.
Yeah.
I never talked to my mom that way again.
Nope.
I'm like, I felt so guilty, dude.
And I think
to this day, it's been years because, you know, 17 has been a long time since then. I still feel guilty about talking to my mom that way to this day.
But you know what? I think that she probably understood where you were coming from. Yeah, and she was
a lesson.
teaching you a lesson.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's
so
what I mean. As you get older, we get that different sense of how our parents treated us. And the older I get, the more I find myself just saying, shit, my parents were right.
Oh, my God. What I put my mom through.
Yeah, and I put my parents through a lot of stuff,
hellion.
too. We've got a really great second half of the show that I'm super nervous about.
I'm stoked.
But it's definitely a Mother's Day special. One thing that we are doing is if you are listening to the podcast right now, we recorded it on the same day.
We did.
We're releasing it today, basically. We're putting a focus on moms and mothers and just celebrating growing up and the problems we gave our parents and the lessons we've learned. So we figured we would release it the same day.
Yeah.
So you get a bonus episode.
That. Yeah.
You don't even have to sign up for our Patreon, which we don't have anyway.
Nope.
Or what? Or what now?
Patreon. It's like a monthly subscription thing where we could release bonus stuff. But we have a hard enough time just getting our regular content out. Yes, it is Mother's Day. I think that this time of the year is a little bit interesting because you've got Mother's Day, Memorial Day, Father's Day.
Right.
And so it seems like we have a holiday like every other week, though is it every other week?
Every other week for what?
It's just a holiday, like Mother's Day, and then there's Memorial Day. I'm going to look at the calendar. Mother's Day, Memorial
I only care about the days that I get off work.
I don't blame you. So Father's Day is a couple weeks after Memorial Day, but it does seem like there's a lot of... We're in the holiday kind of... Post-holiday, pre-holiday season, if that makes any sense.
So wait a second now. Holidays.
Yeah.
Can I just talk to you about our Winco experience last night?
Oh my God.
Do
you want to?
I was on a rampage last night.
Winco was dog shit last night.
It was dog shit. So why do people wait until the last minute to shop? Number one. Number two, I love me some Winco shopping. Okay. Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
Because they have great deals, it's a lot cheaper. But last night
was crazy.
For one thing, 9:30 at night. Toilet paper, emergency kind of a situation. The line had at least 100 people in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think everybody waits till the last minute.
I was like, why? And they were herding us like cattle.
Yeah.
No self-checkout
Was there a guy with glowy sticks? Like
self-checkout wasn't open?
No.
Really?
I heard that Winco closes that like after 9 or something. They don't want
that's always open when I'm there late at night.
I don't know. So my theory on this is they deal with the masses. Fine.
Yeah.
So what they do in that situation is allow people to go to 7-Eleven and pay 3 times the amount of money for toilet paper.
Yeah. And toilet paper wasn't your emergency. Let's be clear. You're very good at having toilet paper stocked at your house. But we were asked to go find toilet paper, and the line. You would have probably waited there for an hour and a half, and just in line.
Not gonna do that. No.
But the same thing kind of happens around the holiday season, like Christmas time. People just wait till the last minute and then wonder why it's so busy.
It's stupid crazy.
Yeah.
It was so crowded in there.
And Curt, I mean, we're kind of stepping on Curt's toes here because he's honestly probably like Winco's number 2 fan. I wouldn't go number 1. You're probably number 2.
I don't know about that, but I mean, it's close. That's my go-to.
It's not that I'm not a fan. I love Winco, but freaking bring your employees in that day.
Yeah,
I think that's a missed opportunity that a lot of businesses do. But you I think, mentioned last night when we were on our way back from Winco that maybe they can't find the people. Like maybe that's it. Who wants to work the...
I mean, I only go to Winco because it's close. I mean,
okay.
Smith's is too far. Walmart sucks. So.
Walmart, yeah.
I don't go to Walmart ever.
Yeah.
Harmon's... I like Harmon's. They have a lot of artists and stuff, but most things are pretty expensive.
It is. Yeah. Harmon's is expensive, but yeah, Winco's my go-to.
Yeah. And now that we got the Costco thing rolling, I mean,
I love Costco.
We are true Utahns. We got Costco memberships. We're ready. Except for you.
I don't. I use yours.
Yeah.
Ramen.
Don't say that. They're going to cancel me.
Oh, God damn it.
Costco's listening to this. They're not a sponsor. They're not a sponsor anymore. Jesus. That's crazy, and I think, and it's not. I guess it's not a bad thing to have to go to the gas station in an emergency to get toilet paper, but it is weird to think that people are like, oh, I think I just was talking to somebody this morning before the show that said, oh man, I haven't gone and gotten anything from my mom for Mother's Day, so I'm going out to get it right now, and I was like, good luck.
Yeah.
Because if you're going out this morning to get something for your mom, you're with the worst crowd, which is everybody that's waiting till the very last minute.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a bunch of busy shit. Like we should look up how busy Winco is right now, but it's popping off.
I bet it is too.
And I hate the fact that I used that word popping off, but growing up, did you do anything special with your family for like Mother's Day? Like in my family, we always kind of made it a point to like go out to eat somewhere nice or go somewhere with my mother.
So I grew up, I'm Italian. Everybody, I think most people know that about me. So large Italian family. So we every excuse me, every holiday, Italian family dinners.
Tons of food.
Tons of food. Yeah. So we didn't go out much. So we always did at home stuff.
Just so you would more just get like a classic Italian.
Classic Italian.
Yeah. You would just get your family together and
boopy. But I always had to sit, pretty much. But I always had to sit at the kids' table in the kitchen.
yeah, the kids' table. We had that for like Christmas and stuff. It was like sit at the kids' table.
Yeah, fuck the kids' table. I was sitting at the kids' table all Thanksgivings and stuff all through my like when I was 16. 17 years. I'm like, fuck this.
I just thought it was better anyway. I'm trying to see how busy Winco was, and it's being a pain in my ass. Let me see. Can I scroll? Yes, I can. Okay. It's just a little busy. It's actually
tiny busy.
Yeah, it's not anything that we dealt with.
No, not last night.
And this is according to Google. You never know.
I have a picture of it. It's like ridiculous. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No.
It was ridiculous.
I'll use paper towels. Thanks.
Yeah. Curt, did you ever have any traditions growing up for Mother's Day?
No. My mom hates Mother's Day.
Does she?
She does. She gets angry every time
Why does she not like it?
I don't know. I've never really figured that out, but she does not like Mother's Day. She tells us me and my brother, she tells us, don't get me anything for Mother's Day. Jesus Christ.
Well, I think every mom says that in the hopes that you're just going to do it anyway.
So honestly,
is that how you felt?
No, I feel that way about Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, and Christmas. Not a big fan of any of those holidays. It's like, don't pick a day to celebrate.
She feels the same about her birthday
every
too.
year. I don't celebrate my birthday. Haven't for a long time. But, don't pick a day.
Because,
celebrate every day.
And
be happy.
They're consumer holidays, right?
Yeah, they are.
Kind of like Christmas, a consumer holiday. Like businesses thrive off of like Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
And I saw an ad the other day that was like Black Friday at Home Depot in June or something. And I'm like, you can't just start calling every Friday Black Friday. Like it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Just celebrate life. Don't like pick a moment to celebrate something.
And take care of the people that mean the most to you all year long. And I think when you're in an environment where that happens, then you care less about the big ideas. And that might be because I'm very close with my family. If my family was like living on the East Coast, Mother's Day and Christmas becomes way more important to go meet up with them. Yeah. But since my family's close, I think that Mother's Day and like Valentine's Day to me was always like, you want me to get you flowers on Valentine's Day?
No.
You're going to put me in like the fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that was with Turbo Man? You remember that?
Yeah.
What was the name of that?
I don't.
Like, damn it. I'm going to have to look it up.
Turbo Man? What?
Turbo Man.
Yeah, you remember
Maybe I don't remember it.
Yeah, he like, his kid wanted the doll Turbo Man, but it was the hot thing that summer, and so he had to go on this like adventure to like find Turbo Man for his kid for Christmas. Oh my gosh. I'm going to look it up.
Oh. I do remember this.
It's going to be as soon as I read it, everybody else, Jingle, no. Is it, no, it's not Jingle All the Way, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Jingle All the Way.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go watch it. It's funny. Watch it at Christmas time. You'll like it better. But I think when you grow up close with your family, then the holidays mean less. Kind of. Not for a bad reason. It's just because you're constantly taking care of each other all the time.
So I think for me, the most important memories are just. And for me, it's hard because my mom's not here anymore, right?
Yeah.
So I remember before she passed for years, because she lived in Colorado. I lived here in Utah. She would call me once a week, or I would call her once a week on my way to work every morning. And for the longest time after she passed away, like when I drove that route, I was like tempted to call her.
Yeah.
And so it was like our time to just catch up and talk. You know?
And I talked to my mom once a week.
A lot.
Like every week, I'd make it a point to call my mom and my dad and just talk. Yeah. And sometimes we talk about nothing. You know what I mean?
And that's okay.
Yeah. Sometimes my mom's like, "How was your week?" And I'm like, pretty normal. And I was like, how was your week? She's like, pretty normal. And I'm like, okay, cool. I should come down and see you soon. And we're like, okay,
And
cool. Love you. Bye.
I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to talk, you know. Yeah, that's with Mother's Day and things like that. It's hard for me to. Curt taught me a pretty good lesson. Is last time I went down to see my parents in St. George, he was like, "I'm making you stop at the grocery store to buy your mother flowers."
Aww.
And I was like, "Dude, my mom doesn't give a shit about flowers. She
does.
She just cares. She just cares that I'm down there. Don't jump the fucking gun. She just cares that I'm there." And then you're right, in a way, I'm making that a little bit selfish because I'm like, I drove 4 hours to go see you. You should just be happy I'm here. But my mom fucking melted.
I bet she did.
When she got those flowers.
Yes.
And she sent me pictures of them in her art studio, and it did make me feel better.
Yeah, of course it did.
So every time you go down there and get your mom flowers.
I'm not a rich person.
No, it's
you know?
cheap, dude. Don't be a hard ass.
Flowers are the most expensive piece of bullshit you can
Pick
buy.
them along the way.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yes, it is.
I might just stop in Beaver and get her some cheese curds, honestly. She might like that more. I don't know. So when you were a kid, you said earlier, you kind of alluded to the fact that you gave your parents hell. Why is that?
Dude,
were you an animal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a brat.
Like,
As a matter of fact, saying that, my nickname for my mom was Brat.
oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
She used to either call me Brat or Grace. I'm not
shit.
graceful, so
I guess
there's a reason behind that. So.
I think you started a story off the other night with, this is the first time I broke my rib.
Yeah.
But what did you do?
Not
What were you just?
I was a little brat. I was like spoiled. I was the firstborn girl.
Okay.
Two, brother, sister, older.
Yeah.
I got away with. Oh my God, my poor brother. I am so sorry, Pete. He took so much of the blame for me.
Really?
I was a hellion, and he always covered for me. I really appreciate that now, because I was not a good girl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
Both me and my brother were bastards when we were kids.
yeah, do you want to share that story you told me the other night about the moment that you realized that you're I don't want to make it sound too harsh, but the moment you decided that you were going to be an asshole. You know, when you fell out of the tree.
Oh, fuck.
Not an asshole, but you decided that everybody else, like, sometimes people suck.
Yeah, well, this doesn't really have to do with mothers or anything like that.
No, it's just sharing stories.
You know, when we were kids, we decided to build a tree fort, and we went down to this little field that had a big tree in it. But the problem that we didn't see was the branch that we were building the tree fort in.
Yeah.
Was extending out probably like 30 feet. And so we built our platform on this thing, and we're put up some walls, and of course, the weight of 7 kids and the wood and everything in it.
Yeah.
The branch broke, and we fell maybe 10 feet.
How many kids were there? Like
7 or 6 or 7.
Okay, so there was a lot of kids on the
Oh yeah.
tree,
Oh yeah. So we all hit the ground. We didn't realize what had happened until 5-6 seconds later, that this branch had broken. We had fallen, and everybody was crying for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I was like, looking at everybody, I'm like, what the fuck are you crying about? Like, nobody's hurt.
Yeah.
Just
And then you're like, I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm done dealing with people. No, I think because we all did that as kids. I built a tree fort. I climbed trees and then accidentally grabbed a beehive and fell like a Plinko chip through the tree branches.
Is that why you're so ugly?
Yeah, well,
Because you hit every goddamn branch on the way down?
yeah. I was up there raking leaves.
Falling out of the ugly tree. Then the tree fell on you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I grew the beard out, because the beard distracts from how ugly I am.
Okay, so 3rd grade report card.
Yeah.
Like back when they gave S's and E's, right? So for like, I don't know.
I think you've been over there thinking that you're just
Well,
like 3rd
no,
grade
so I was
report
thinking about
card.
me being a brat. 3rd grade report card. Laura does not share well with others. It was over a bar of soap, dude. I was so angry. So angry. We were finger painting, and I didn't want to share the soap because my hands weren't clean, and I got it was an unsatisfactory
mark.
On my report card. I still remember that to this day.
I wonder how
That teacher.
school has changed. Like elementary school, when I went there, they didn't really do a check. You just got your grade, right? And then you got your report card and then parent-teacher conferences. But I've heard today there's like weekly reviews on your child's behavior and how they have interacted with other kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I didn't like somebody, I would just like push them down in the gravel at the park and be like, I don't like you.
Or trip them in the hallway.
And then the teacher would be like, you're growing up. It's just so different today that we kind of feel like you just have to tiptoe around everything.
I think so. I think it's because of, I don't want to get into a deep topic, but like bullying is.
Oh yeah, bullying's a huge
I think it's
thing.
their way of preventing bullying. Yeah.
I think so too, but I remember specifically growing up and bullying was just part of it, and I adapted to the fact that bullies exist, and when I would be bullied, I would change my behavior to fly further under the radar of the bullies,
Yeah.
Because if people are gonna single you out either way.
They will. Kids are mean. I was an introvert.
People are mean too. I was an introvert when I was young too.
Were you? I was. Yeah. What about you, Curt?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I always hung out with like the crew that was it wasn't like the weird crew that would stand in the corner, eat lunch in the corner, but it was the crew that people were like, they're just them, we're not anything to talk about, we're not anything to make fun of.
Yeah.
It's kind of where I fell.
I like under the radar.
Yeah.
Just didn't want anybody to notice me.
Yeah.
At all.
But I would also be the guy that would come out of nowhere with some really cool like some cool tricks. Like I'd know the certain place to punch the vending machine to get a free bag of Fritos or something.
You would have been my best friend.
Yeah, I'd be like, you guys want some Fritos? Let's go get some free Fritos. They're like, I don't know how come you're the only one that can do this. It's because I've literally spent more time than you should analyzing a vending machine.
Yeah, and I didn't give too much a shit about school.
I didn't either. I was horrible.
I hated school.
Yeah, I hated it. I hated it so much.
Hated. I was a good student, but I hated school.
And I had people tell me, or I've talked to people, and they said, well, you were just bored at school. And I was like, I wasn't bored. I really liked being there with my friends. But then when the teacher would tell me, here's a math equation, I would be like, okay, I get it. Can we just not do like 3 pages of homework over it?
So that wasn't my problem at all. I just hated the kids.
Oh, you hated the people you went to school with?
I thought they were cliquey, obnoxious, conceited. I'm like, I cannot wait to get out of this school. I think I was telling you this the other night. I graduated like a semester early, got out in January.
Oh, really?
Yay.
Yeah.
I am out of this place.
Isn't that so
Mom
crazy?
said,
go ahead.
You're going to walk anyway. I'm like, I don't want to walk with my class.
Yeah.
She made me, though.
I didn't walk in graduation from college. My mom really wanted me to, I think. And I was just like, I just want to be done and move on, In high school, I did walk, and it was really emotional, and a lot of those people I've never seen again.
Never.
At the same time, I can't say I'm really sad about that.
Me either.
No offense to anybody.
I don't remember
but
their names.
Yeah, I'll go back through my yearbook, and I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy. That's as far as I go, though. I remember you, and then I'm like,
yeah,
now I can move on. Let's take a break.
Should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
All right.
I think the audience is going to be. List to the listener, we've got some surprises.
We do
coming up on this very special Mother's Day episode.
Yep.
We'll be back after a short moment of pause.
Mommy, 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 mama, 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 ma, 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 mom, mom, mom. Mom! Mommy! Mommy! Mama! Mama! Mama!
What?
Hey. Welcome back to the weekly InSalt episode 270. Very special day.
Mother's Day episode.
Mother's Day episode.
Yeah, this is weird for me because I know we're releasing it when we're done.
Today.
Yeah, and I think it's appropriate.
I think so, too,
I really do.
Dude.
Because we're making it about mothers today, and I guess we should just spoil it.
Yeah,
I guess we're not spoiling it because now's the time, right?
Now is the time. Let's do it.
Should we call my mom?
Let's call
your
mom.
I think so.
Okay. Hopefully she answers. Wouldn't that be weird for her not to answer?
That would be really weird. Oh, she'll answer.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Mom. How are you?
Hey, Sue.
Hey, hi. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thank you for sharing stories about me on our show, which is making me really nervous right now.
I'm super stoked for this.
Oh, moms always have funny and good stories to tell about their kids growing up.
Yeah, that's true. And happy Mother's Day.
Yes. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you.
I
Nice to
couldn't
be remembered.
I couldn't have wished for a better mother. Thank you so much. And you put up with so much of my crap growing up that I'm sure you have some great stories to tell. So why don't you start with the first one that comes to mind?
Okay. The one I was thinking about it last night. It's like when you were a little kid, you're probably like 4 years old, if that. Your sister wasn't even born yet, but I was working back then part-time, and I took you up to Grandma's to be babysat during the day, and she absolutely loved having you come over, and you'd do like the house was a wreck, kind of left, but she's like, don't worry about it, it'll be fine. But one time I came over to her house to pick you up, and she goes, oh, I got scared today. And I'm like, what? And she goes, I almost burned down the house.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what? She goes, well, we were outside raking the leaves, and somehow between me and Wade, we decided that we want to burn some leaves.
Oh my gosh.
So she got the garbage can lid. It was a metal round one, so she put some leaves in it, and on the steps to the patio going into the house, that's where she had that garbage can lid with the leaves, and you and Grandma lit them on fire, and I guess it went like, of course, it just dry leaves just went poof. And she thought the patio roof was going to catch on fire.
You know, I think I do remember that. I have like a really vague memory of a small fire on Grandma's patio, but I was so young I don't remember it being that big.
Yeah. Well, back then, burning anything was always intriguing to little kids, and so of course whatever you wanted, Grandma's like, okay.
Yeah.
Spoiled. Were you spoiled?
Was I spoiled? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that I don't ever feel like, Mom, you spoiled me necessarily, but you always made sure that you sacrificed a lot for me and Drew. I know that you did.
Yeah.
And it was always, when I was young, I kind of took that for granted, but as I've gotten older, I've really known how much you've sacrificed just to make sure that me and my sister have a very good life. So thank you so much.
Oh, thanks. Well, we waited 10 years. Well, it took 10 years to get you.
Yeah.
And I always used to say, I didn't wait 10 years just to always tell Wade and Drew, no.
Yeah.
Like, can we go to McDonald's for hamburgers? No. It's like, no. It's like, these kids deserve, a good childhood. And
yeah.
so,
And for the listeners that might be listening to this right now, I'm adopted and my sister's adopted. So that's why my mom says we waited 10 years
It's so
to
special.
get us. So, yeah.
So special.
I couldn't be more lucky.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, you're the best thing that happened to us.
Well, you're the best thing that happened to us, me and Drew, for sure.
Oh, good.
I don't want to make you cry on the
Don't
show.
make her
So
cry.
how about
No.
share another one?
I want to hear a funny story about teenage Wade.
Oh dear.
Oh, teenage Wade.
Yeah.
Oh, I was,
I've got one that kind of came back pretty recently, and Mom, you'll probably laugh at this too, because the house I grew up in, there was a fire in the kitchen, and they had to remodel the whole upstairs. But elementary school Wade thought that where would I hide a bad report card?
Oh.
In the hallway bathroom in the vent. Nobody will ever find it there. And then when we recently remodeled the house before my parents moved, they found my report card from like 6th grade in the
So
hallway
the
bathroom.
grades, man.
Bad.
Bad.
oh,
Do you remember that?
I don't, no.
Oh, Dad texted me a picture of it. He might have been the one that found it.
Oh.
But he's like, look what we found in the hallway bathroom. It's like D's and F's and stuff. I wasn't I wasn't ever a very good student, I don't think, Mom.
Yeah.
Well, when I'd go to parent-teacher conferences, they would say, oh, Wade didn't do this, Wade didn't do that. So I went to parent-teacher conferences about twice by myself. And then after that, I'm like, Wade, you're going with, because you want to hear what the teachers say, because I'd come home and report what they say, and Wade would go,
That's not true.
Yeah, I was scared. I never really wanted to do homework. I think that was my biggest thing, is like the math questions of do problems 1 through 76, the odd ones. I don't want to do that.
Oh my God! Wait
I
until
hated
we
that.
talk to my mom. Holy shit!
Well, what's another story
So-
that you have?
So one I think that you'll probably remember is that when we were getting ready to go to Disneyland, you were 10 and Drew was 5, and I found out about we could deliver phone books. Somebody was telling me, and so I called them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we have some positions open." So we had the van at that time, and we went over and piled up all the phone books into the back of the van, and it's like the van was just like leaning almost in the back. But so you and Drew and then your friend Colby all delivered phone books. So we were telling Colby that we were going to do it, and he goes, "Well, I want to do it." And so I says, "Well, run home or go home and ask your mom and if it's okay." And then he came back like 10 minutes later and said, "Yeah, she says it's okay." So,
And it was delivering phone books, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't even think that happens anymore, but
I don't think
we
so
were
either.
kids and we were so excited to deliver phone books.
yeah. What we did is just opened the van door. You know, it was on one of those sliders. So I drove down the street slow, and then it stopped at every house. And then you guys would take turns grabbing a phone book and putting it on the person's doorstep, and then come back. And then Drew took a turn, and then Colby took a turn, and we got like $13 for like one route. So as soon as you delivered all the phone books, you'd go back and get a whole bunch more, and then do the same to the next neighborhood. But,
Yeah.
it just like, well, we're going to try to earn money to go to Disneyland. So it gave you a vested interest. Like, yeah, I helped earn for this trip, and
To be
So that
honest,
was-
I don't think that when I was a kid, I remember doing the phone books and everything, and that was fun for some reason. That was fun. And I don't think I would do it now, but I don't remember thinking of it as a kid like, oh, I'm helping pay for the trip. I just thought it was super cool to deliver phone books.
Did you really? So
Yeah.
I'm curious, how much did he earn?
well, it was like $13
Oh, wow.
back in the day for delivering the whole neighborhood.
The whole neighborhood was $13?
Wow.
Well, I think it was one side of the street.
Oh, okay.
And then we had to mark down like each house, like a check, and then they did kind of like tricky things. It's like they'd have us, they had an address for like a garage,
Yeah.
that was just on an empty field with a garage. I'm like, well, we didn't do that. And it's like, haha, we were just testing you to make sure that.
Of course. Yeah, I do remember doing that, and I think the fun part was as a kid, we had that van, the sliding door on the van, and
Yeah.
whenever we went anywhere, we always would be just in our seats with the seatbelts on. But when we were delivering phone books, you could drive with the door open,
Nice.
and we thought it
Yes.
was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, if you-
I've got another one, but
Okay.
yeah, that was fun. It's like that was kind of like a no-no to drive the car with
Yeah.
the door open.
I remember when we were really little, you had a station wagon that had like seats that were maybe not backwards, but we would just hang out in the trunk of the car of the station wagon. I think it was red
yeah.
or something.
Uh-huh.
And I remember
that's
thinking back like how unsafe that was, but
Oh,
it-
yeah.
at the
We had
time it
one,
was
too,
normal.
When I was little. Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to ride back there all the time.
Yeah, it was just what kids did.
Yeah.
We didn't think like, oh, this is so unsafe.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Go ahead and share another one. And embarrass me as much as you want.
Yeah, let's make this one really embarrassing.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. One time we went to camping. This wasn't embarrassing, but I just remember it. So we went camping, and I think the name of the place was like Moon Lake.
Yeah.
And your sister Drew got one of those housefly, or not a housefly, but a horsefly bite on her eyelid, and so it all swole up. But there was a lake there, and so we burned fires, and we splashed in the water. But you and Drew got the brainstorm to throw our dog Dusty into the water.
Oh, I remember Dusty.
And poor Dusty, she came out, and she was like shivering, and she just shivered the whole night. And
Yeah.
so finally it was time for bed, and we're like, okay. And we put her in the bottom of one of your sleeping bags, and she was like shivering the whole night. So
Oh. Was Dusty a male or female? I thought it was a male.
Yeah. Male,
okay.
But I was just calling her she, but yeah, he.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Dusty laying in the very bottom of the sleeping bag. I remember that night was particularly cold for some reason, but I just remember that, like, the dog being in the bottom of the sleeping bag, and then we woke up the next day just feeling so bad that we did that. But we were kids, you know? It was like, yeah, we should throw the dog in the lake. That'd be crazy. Well, if you've got another one, by all means. But if not, that's fine too.
Yeah, one time when you were getting your driver's license, you had your learner's permit. And so we had, Dad had his truck, and I think we had the van, and it was a stick shift, and that was hard to learn on. So I went and rented a car for the weekend.
I do remember that.
For you to drive around. And we went out to, I think it was called out towards South Mountain, but there's another subdivision thing that you go up the road.
To like the very top.
Hill. Yeah, Suncrest, I think it was called, but it was just high. And it was, when we went, it was kind of foggy. And
I remember that.
Yeah. But, Dad sat in the front next to you. You were driving, and then I sat in the back. I
remember Dad always, like, when I was learning to drive, whenever you would get scared, you'd, like, grab the armrest, and it would really make Dad upset. Like, you're scaring him.
Yeah.
Which I'd be the same way. You're teaching a kid how to drive. You're like, oh, just let him make mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
Did you do that same thing with your children, Laura?
So when my son learned to drive, I took him on the road to Evanston. You know that big, giant hill?
Yeah.
And I pulled off on the top of that hill, and I'm like, all right, you're driving.
Yeah.
Semi's coming down. Oh, that's a scary hill. That's where he learned to drive on the freeway.
Yeah. Trial by fire.
Oh, yeah.
And Dad did that to me. I remember I wanted to drive Dad's truck. He had a white Ford F-150, and it was a standard transmission as well as the van was. I think we had a Ford. I don't think it was an Aerostar. Maybe it was. It was a minivan. But Dad would always take me
Aerostar.
out. Yeah, Dad would take me out in the minivan, and I'd be like, I don't want to drive that. And he always told me, if you can drive this piece of shit, you can drive anything. And he wasn't wrong.
Yeah. And then one other about driving, when you graduated from high school, we took a 2-week trip to Florida.
Yeah.
And we let you drive too in Florida, but I had no idea that, like, every day in the summer in Florida, it just like pours down rain for like 30 minutes, and then boom, it's gone and the sun's out again. But do you remember driving and all of a sudden it just started raining, and it's like the windshield wipers couldn't go fast enough.
Yeah, I do remember that. I remember it being like a wall of water. You look up ahead and it looks like a weird fog, and then all of a sudden it was just torrential downpour.
Were you nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah, that scared the shit out of me.
And were you scared too?
I was scared too.
I bet you were.
But then that taught me a good lesson, which is when you're driving on the freeway and you hit weather like that, it's a really bad thing to just slam on your brakes because the people behind you might not do that, and then you become the hazard. So even I think that those experiences with driving and things like that really taught me a good lesson of you need to be aware of the other people around you. Even though you're the one driving and you're trying to be safe, you can't make decisions that are going to put other people in danger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I really am happy that you let me drive in Florida. And of course, I was the age where I'm like, well, I just want to drive. You know, it's so cool.
Yeah.
But then being in those situations was like, oh, driving is
not that cool.
Yeah, it's not that. It's not always fun.
And then, And then Dad's like, just go slow, or just, take your, not slow, but I mean, just, keep going through. You'll pass. We'll get through it.
Yeah. Well, Mom, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. One little thing. I remember a lot of the stories from when you were a kid, not so much being older, because you were more out of your own, on your own. I didn't see everything that was going on. But when you were a little kid, the 4th of July, and you must have been like, probably like 2 or 3, but we were hearing the fireworks outside, and you called them thundercrackers.
Yeah, I have some memories of going over. I don't know what house we were at, but I remember that I think I got scared and I was watching them from inside just because they were so loud or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, and you were little.
Yeah.
Oh, and remember that one time you and it was probably Colby or somebody that you were letting off fireworks right there in the middle of the road in front of our house, and the fire truck came down and he stopped right there in front of our house, and he goes, "There's been some fireworks and we're trying to find the people that are doing it. Do you know who?" And you're like, "Nope, haven't seen anybody."
Yeah. I think everybody can relate to stories about fireworks and stuff like that. That's just being a kid. But being a kid in that time is a lot different than now, because we didn't have cell phones or, video games were a thing, but you couldn't do that all day.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have to go outside and basically get into trouble.
Yeah, and entertain yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the call and talking on the show and sharing stories about me to basically the world.
I've loved being your mom.
Well,
Aww.
I've loved having you as my mom, and I love you very much.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, love you.
Love you. All right. Come on. My mom's a great lady.
That was a great phone call.
Yeah,
Your
it
mom
really was.
is so special to me. She's always been so generous and open, and I've spent some time with them.
I'm so
Your mom
happy
and
she
dad?
didn't embarrass me. Like,
I wanted her to.
yeah, I know. And my mom's like, she's got
so
the golden
kind.
heart.
She does.
She gave that to me too, and I was really nervous for this.
I know you were.
And I'm glad. I think it's a really cool idea to have our mothers call. Obviously, your mother is not here to do that. But
love you, Mama.
I think that I'm not the only one that's going to have this happen to them.
I
today.
know. Should we? Should we?
Should we call my
Curt.
mom?
I think we should.
Should we?
Yeah.
I
you want
mean,
to?
we
I
kind
don't
of
know.
agreed to this.
I don't know. It's going to be weird.
You think it is?
Yeah, well, we'll see.
I'm going to ask your mom why she doesn't like Mother's Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. She'll probably.
I think
give you a reason.
Kurt looks a little nervous.
I am
does look
nervous.
a little nervous. Let's do
Do you
it.
want to call her? Call her.
Yeah,
up.
let's call her.
Call her
out.
now.
I don't
Call
know
her
if she's
now.
going to answer though, because she doesn't like to.
Hopefully she does.
I hope so too.
I don't know.
Answer.
Maybe she will. Come on.
Hello.
Hi, Mama.
Hi, honey.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So we're sitting here in the podcast studio. I've got Wade and Laura, and you're on the show with us. So,
Yay!
so the purpose of this is we wanted to call and get some stories from you of when basically when I was a bastard when I was a kid. And so we want to hear what you have to say. Don't feel bad about embarrassing me. Fuck.
Please embarrass him.
Oh, boy, the stories that I could tell about this little booger.
Oh, shit.
Well, one thing that Curt said is that you're not really a fan of Mother's Day necessarily.
You know, I'm really not. Even though I'll always reach out to my mother and wish her a happy Mother's Day. But no, I'm not a fan of Mother's Day. It just reminds me of all the things, as my kids were growing up, the things that you could have done differently, the things that you should have done, the things that you should not have done.
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
And it just kind of, it makes me feel guilty. And so I just really don't really participate in it. I've always told my boys, I don't give me anything. Don't send me anything. It just, and to each his own. Some mothers just relish in this holiday, and good for them. But for me, I feel differently about it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I speak for Curt, but I think you raised a very good son.
Absolutely.
He's a good
job.
guy.
And mom,
I
and
try to be.
I'll just say this: moms always feel guilty.
Sure.
I know. Yeah. at the time going through it, you thought you were doing such a great and wonderful job, and oh well, and this is the way it is. But now you look back at it and you just think, wow.
Yeah.
I wish that hadn't have happened, or I could have done better in this area. And in spite of it all, I look at my two sons, and I'm extremely proud of them. With
You should be.
all the hardships and everything that we encountered, trying to make things work.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of him. But there were challenges. There.
Well, why don't you
Yeah,
elaborate
tell
on
us.
some of these challenges?
My hell, Curt. he was such a little booger. Just such a little booger. From early on, I picked up on how stubborn this kid was. He's so different from his older brother, but he was so stubborn. Trying to potty train this little guy was an absolute joke. I'd put him on the potty chair and he'd get up and run away. Take him and put him back, and it was just horrendous to keep up with this kid. To put him there and he'd run away, and put him there again, and he'd get up and escape. And one day I had some success. He stayed on that potty chair. I had gone out of the room, and he didn't come out. And I thought, oh, good. This is success. And I checked back on him in 5 minutes. Oh, no. That little booger had climbed off that potty chair and was asleep right in front of the potty chair. His little bare bum kicking up in the air, and he is dead asleep on the floor. He was not going to sit on that potty chair. And I just figured out, this kid, he's going to do what he's going to do, and he is not going to do what he doesn't want to do. And that's all there is to it.
He's still that way today.
That's so funny that you found that out at a very young age by him being so mad to be potty trained that he fell asleep. I'm not doing this,
I'm
Mom.
so defiant.
No, I'm just gonna lay down and forget about this. And oh my God, and to get him into school, into kindergarten. I was so excited. Oh, he's going to kindergarten, and we lived almost a mile away from the school, and we weren't in the district to bus, so I took him to school every day, picked him up every day. And kindergarten, it was only like maybe 2.5 hours most of the days, and maybe an hour and a half one of the days during the week. And I'd take him to school, and he just would drag his backpack into school.
I could see that.
God, I don't want to do this. And then I'm home, and I get this phone call, and it's the school, and they're saying to me, Is Curt home?
Uh-oh.
I said, no. He's supposed to be at school. And they said, well, he's not here.
Fuck
and
school.
I said, well, what do you mean
were
he's
you?
not here? I said, what do you mean he's not in school? And they said, well, we went out for recess, and he didn't come back in.
Uh-oh.
Were you
And
taking a
I thought-
nap under a tree?
No.
I know. I just thought, and I told him, I said, we live close to a mile away from the school. I said, I'll get in my car and I'll drive the route and see where he is. And sure enough, I found that little booger walking, dragging his backpack, and I pulled up to the side, and he recognized the car, and he looked at me, and he just beamed. And I said to him, rolled down the window, and I said, what are you doing? And he says, well, I'm coming home.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm nope, the fuck out of there.
And I said, you have to go to school. And he said, I don't want to go to school. And I said, you have to go to school. And I said, get into the car. And, you think about it, God, it would have been so easy just to, just drive back home.
Yeah.
Just to kick him in the car and drive back home and forget this and try again another day. And I just thought, I've got to take him back to school. And so I told him, I said, Curt, we've got to go back to school. And he started to cry, and he says, no, Mom, I don't want to. And he reached up at me, and he looked at me, and he said, look at my face, Mom. He said, I'm sweating. It's probably because he'd been walking home in the sunshine. And I said, I know. You're sweating, but we have to go back to school.
Were you so upset, Curt?
I was pretty upset about that.
No, Kurt's new name is Little Booger.
Oh, fuck.
So I took him back to school, but that was the big, oh boy, all throughout his academic years, they were an absolute challenge with him because I'm not going to play this game.
I mentioned to you guys earlier that I didn't do well with school.
I just had the conversation with my mom right before we called you, and I said the same thing. I wasn't great at school. I didn't like it. I didn't want to be there either. So, I get where Kurt's coming from, but I also understand how much pressure we put you through. Being like, I don't want to go to school. I hate it, and.
It was a real challenge, grades 1 through 6 during the first week, every single year. That first week, I'd always get a note from the teachers, and they wanted me to come in so that they could talk to me about his motivation and he wasn't interested in anything, and he didn't want to engage in anything, and it was just all the time, all the time like that, every single year. I just expected it. And in junior high, no better. No better. He discovered that if he put on his Levi jacket and buttoned it up, he could just kind of slouch down in the chair, and his Levi jacket would come up at the back, and it would cover his face, and he could take a little nap. And so he's in the back of the room, buried in his Levi jacket, just, doing whatever he wants to do.
So you're kind of confirming, and Kurt's still this way today, that you just like naps, Curt.
You love
I
sleeping.
do.
You
I
like
do.
naps.
I take naps after work.
Yeah, it was just a challenge with him, and I tried everything. I went to the school 3 days a week to get his assignments, and I would sit with him to help him do his assignments and put him in his backpack the next morning so that he could turn them in. No, he wouldn't even turn them in. He'd do them and wouldn't turn them in.
That was how I was too.
It was just, as a mom, I just felt like I don't know what to do here. I took him to the doctors. I took him to the school counselors, and I had him tutored one whole summer, privately tutored one whole summer. Nothing. It just continued, and wow, it was just so.
Do you think that at some point? Because I thought this too. Somebody had told this to me, but they said, I don't think that he's really interested in class because he's just bored. Like he might, like the regular classes that everybody has to go through, he's just not interested in because he's already thought ahead and thinking about doing better things than doing 100 math problems.
I don't know, but one year we bought him it was a kit. And it was to put together a radio. It was
I could see that.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, just 1,000 little pieces, and that if he put it all together, he could tune in to some station and listen to it. And so we bought him that, and I just thought, oh no, he's going to lose interest in this real quickly. And I thought, well, but maybe he'll work on this, and this will last maybe a couple of weeks or something like that. No, it was the funniest thing. He took that box full of all this crap to make his radio and went down in his bedroom and spent the whole damn day working on that, and he got it to work.
Did he?
Yeah.
What was the first thing you listened to?
I don't remember. It was probably like an AM station.
One day, yeah.
In one day, we were shocked. We were shocked. I thought, wow, and it was so refreshing to see that he's got an interest. We found something that he was interested in, that he would stay engaged in, and it was just so rewarding to find that. But, you know, when you think about it, school is such a big part of their young lives.
Yeah.
And you know, when he got into high school, I kind of backed off. I just thought, I can't be going to the school, and that's with all these peers and all these people. I just thought, that's just not a good plan for a mother to be doing something like that. And barking at the teachers. And
I'll tell you, you did a fine job. Yeah, because Kurt's one of the smartest guys I know.
Well,
yeah.
You know, that's good. And I think what helped was in high school was just a frickin' disaster. You know, I was just kind of hoping that things would change, but they never did. And when he was a sophomore, he brought home his report card, and he had always struggled.
Yeah.
Always struggled.
Yeah.
But he brought home this report card, and and his brother had presented me his report card going to the same school, and it was good,
Yeah.
And sure enough, he looked at Curt and said, "Curt, show Mom your report card."
Yeah, of course.
And so, sure, Curt reluctantly pulled it out, and I looked at it, and when there was a column there for the GPA, and I looked down at the column where the GPA was, and the only numbers were on the right of the decimal point.
Oh,
It was below a 2?
Kurt's holding his head down
Oh my
right
goodness,
now.
he's yeah.
But I did the same thing.
There were no numbers on the left of the decimal point.
It was below a
And-
2.0, dude?
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
It was
Yeah,
it was a 0 point something.
Yeah, it was just so defeating. And
Yeah.
I finally looked at him and I said to him, I said, "Curt,
Here it is.
why are you going to school? Look at this report card." I said that you're essentially doing nothing.
Nothing.
Why are you going to school? And he looked at me and he said, "They have good French fries."
They were delicious.
No way. That is amazing.
Oh, my God.
They were so good.
See, the
I
only
know,
reason
I
you went to
just-
school is for the French fries,
was
dude.
for the French fries.
Wow. That is And you know what?
glorious.
Knowing Curt for as long as I have now, that is a total Curt response. I like the food.
And I looked at him and I said, "Okay, we need to take a break. We just need to take a break." And I think that was the best thing that we did,
Yeah.
was to just call it all off for a while.
Yeah.
And it was a big decision, but I think it taught him a lot to go out and get a job and be responsible. And on his own, he came to me and said, and this was after a year, at least a year, possibly longer, but after a year, he said to me, "I need to go back to school."
Yeah.
And
Aw.
I said, yeah. I said, it's something you need to complete. And he did. He went back to school, and he graduated with his diploma.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the best thing we did.
Yeah.
Is to just give him that break. And I'm, like I said, with all of that turmoil, I'm extremely proud. I'm extremely proud of his accomplishments.
Oh,
and
Yeah.
what
I got tears in my eyes.
You are crying.
I am crying.
I think that it is, and when we were talking about Mother's Day before we called you, and kind of the meaning behind that, and I think this is the reason why we wanted to call my mom and you, because it's not just about a day, it's about mothers and the struggles that you put up with so much for Curt, and my mom did for me, that it's more about recognizing what has been done, not what is, and sometimes what is being done, but just understanding that everybody's different and everybody has their own struggles, and moms are always there.
They are.
Matter what.
No matter what.
Yep.
and
that's
a
true.
parent's role is always changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as both of my sons have gotten older, I'm less of a parent now. I'm more of just a listener for my sons. I'm not the advisor anymore unless I'm asked. I don't need to know everything that's happened in their lives, what's going on in their lives, unless they offer it. Their decisions are their own now, along with all the benefits and all the consequences that go with those decisions.
Yeah.
And I really accept that. But as a mom, you always want to defend and protect. Always want to do that.
Of course.
And sometimes
I
as a
just
mom,
choose
you just don't want to know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. And I just choose wisely what I will defend them against and protect them
Yeah.
against. But I'm always present. I want them to always know that I'm always here. But I know they have their own lives to live, and it's not my place anymore to interject myself in a lot of stuff that is going on in their lives. I know my lane
Yeah.
with my kids.
Yeah. I'm sure that's hard in its own right too, because you're a mother and you're always going to be there, and so it's probably hard at the same time to be like, okay, they can go live their lives.
It is hard. I mean, you learn as you get older as a mom that it's okay to take a step back and not worry about everything. You still worry.
Yeah.
You do.
You do.
But you have to. You have to make a conscious effort.
Take a step back.
Step back because it's their lives. But in the same breath, I'm always open to invitations into their lives.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, Mom, as much as I was a piece of shit when I was a kid, I'm
You
great.
weren't a piece of shit.
I am grateful that you're my mom. You've done a lot for me, and I truly appreciate it. So, again, happy
You're
Mother's
the
Day.
Oh, thank you.
I know you're not a fan of Mother's Day, and I'll always bring you flowers. So
Bless
even if
your
it's not
heart.
Mother's Day, I'm bringing you flowers.
you should.
Yeah.
You're the good. You're a good boy.
Yep.
You're a good boy.
You're a good booger.
You're a
doing
good
well.
booger.
I'm a good booger.
Little booger.
All right, Mom. I appreciate you taking our phone call. It's always good to talk to you, and
It was fun to reminisce.
and I'll
Yeah.
come up and visit you soon.
Happy Mother's
Okay.
Day.
Happy Mother's Day. See
All right,
ya.
thanks, Mom.
Thank you.
Love you. Love you
Bye.
too. Bye.
What a fun time.
This was a really
It
nerve-wracking and great idea, honestly. That was your mom had like a full complete story arc on you,
yeah.
which was, I'm like,
Little booger.
I almost wanted to cry too when
I
you
did.
you
I
had tears
actually
in your
got
eyes.
tears in my eyes, dude. That was so heartfelt.
It was your mom going from he was such a pain in my ass to then I realized we need to step back, and then he's become this beautiful person.
And
it's
she
like,
is so
holy
proud of
shit.
you.
Well, yeah,
I'm
mean,
getting teary-eyed again.
I've turned into, somebody that's not a piece of shit. I did graduate high school.
But you weren't a piece of shit back then. You're just doing your thing.
You were just
know
a
what I mean?
boy.
Yeah, I was just a rotten kid. That's all. But I did graduate high school. I have a great paying job, and I own a house now. So
Yeah.
So
That's what happens when you're
everything's
adult,
worked
man.
out.
You can definitely tell a lot of the character in you has rubbed off from your mom, and that's amazing. Your mom is such a great person, but also I feel like your mom can be brutal when she needs to be, and I think that's a good thing.
That's all moms can be brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ask my kids.
Yeah.
I was a brutal mom when I needed to.
Yeah.
So this has been a glorious day. Happy Mother's Day to all of you beautiful women out there. And
happy
this
Mother's
has
Day.
been the weekly InSalt. Thanks for joining us.
Dude, what a
Curt.
nerve-wracking idea. I can't believe she is that.
Little booger.
Oh, dude, my mom was too nice. We might have to call her next Mother's Day and get the real shit.
Little booger.
Oh, I'm so glad the show's over.
That was fun.